Hey y'all, I'm Dee Dee with Beauty Pixie. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is part 2 in the Skin Explained series. Today we're looking at the function of skin. What's its purpose? What's it do? The primary functions of the skin are sensation, temperature regulation, absorption, protection, excretion, and secretion. So first we're going to look at secretion. Sebaceous glands secrete sebum, which is oil. It coats the skin surface to help moisturize it and also make it slightly waterproof. And at the same time, it slows down the evaporation of moisture from the skin. It also creates a barrier known as the acid mantle, which inhibits the growth of harmful bacteria. This is the gland that can be overproductive and secrete too much sebum. That's when you get what we call oily skin. Next, we have absorption. Now, the skin has limited power of absorption. Though small amounts of chemicals may enter the body rapidly through hair follicles and sweat glands, they are primarily absorbed through the epidermis. What the skin does absorb well is ultraviolet sunlight. UV absorbed into the skin is converted into molecules, some of which get turned into vitamin D through the liver and the kidneys. This can also be a double-edged sword. Too much UV exposure, though, can wreak absolute havoc on the body. Usually 20 to 40 minutes a day is all that we need to make the vitamin D. And a better source of it is getting it from our diet. You probably think 20 to 40 minutes, that's a lot. I never go outside. You gotta remember, your average commute is probably at least 20 minutes a day, round trip. And you're getting sunlight through windows, and there's actually small amounts of UV that come from indoor lighting. Next, we have secretion. Sudoriferous glands, sweat glands, excrete sweat. And sweat is a waste byproduct of the body. It is one of the natural ways that our body detoxifies itself. And this is why sometimes when you go into spas, you'll see saunas and steam rooms helping that process along. The mixing of sweat and sebum on the surface of the skin are what creates that acid mantle. There are 2 types of sweat glands in the body. Eccrine glands are smaller and found all over the body, or apocrine glands that are bigger and found in hairy areas like the armpits or the scalp. Next, we have sensation. Heat, cold, pain, pressure, and touch receptors are found in the papillary layer of the dermis. Nerves supplying the skin register these sensations, along with the vellus hair that we have all over our body. Temperature regulation. In order to compensate for changing environment, our body will either dilate or constrict our blood vessels. When they dilate, it brings the blood vessel closer to the surface of the skin, allowing for that heat disbursement through the skin to cool our bodies down. And then vice versa, when we're cold, the vessels constrict, keep in that heat, and supply it to the vital organ. Also, the vellus hair stand on end when we're cold and helps to trap some of the heat in a layer around the body. And we see this as goosebumps. And then we have our largest category, protection. The skin protects the body in a myriad of ways. First, melanin production. Melanin is responsible for the color of our skin, but its function is to actually protect us from UV radiation. The more radiation that we are exposed to, the more our melanocytes produce melanin, trying to protect us from the UV exposure. And people who have adapted to a more UV saturated area have developed darker skin tones. Some ultraviolet radiation is deflected off by our stratum corneum. Some is absorbed by the melanin, and some is scattered throughout the skin. All 3 processes contribute to the protection of the nuclei of the cell, and in the dermis, collagen degradation. The scattered radiation creates a lot of high energy particles, which are called free radicals. Free radicals are very reactive and they attack the constituents of the skin. This is why long-time ultraviolet radiation produces so much damage. Skin also prevents excessive water loss, and that is an exceptionally important function in itself, both in the skin and to the body as a whole. In the normal epidermis, water content becomes lower the closer to the surface that it gets. Water makes up to about 70 to 75% of the weight of the basal layer, that bottom of the epidermis, but only about 10 to 15% to the stratum corneum, the very top layer. The stratum corneum is a particularly important barrier to control moisture loss. So there you have it. Those are some of the many functions that the skin has. I think the best and biggest one is protection. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please tune in to the next one when we look at the dysfunction of the skin. That video is probably going to be a lot longer and a lot more in depth, and should provide you with some good tips and tricks of how to manage, how to lessen, and maybe heal some of the dysfunctions that you may be experiencing in your skin. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.